How can food help us feel connected?
When I have a worry-filled mind, I like to wander outside. No telling what we might find. Birds calling, worms crawling, leaves falling down from above. Oh, I plant my feet on the ground. I keep my head in the clouds. I let my feelings out loud. I hear joy calling, fear crawling, tears falling down out of love.
Welcome, friends. My name is Mrs. A, and I'm so glad that you joined me today. Whenever we have a lesson together, we always practice noticing and naming our feelings. And we do that in a couple different ways. Today, we're going to use this feelings poster that I've made. And if you'd like to get your hands on this feelings poster, you can become a patron for as little as $1 donation, and it is offered as a thank you, so you can download it and print it and use it in your own space whenever you need it. And on this feelings poster, there are a lot of different feelings that we experience throughout the day and throughout our weeks. And remember, just like our zones, no feeling is good or bad. They are, just like the weather. They come, they go, they change from time to time, and they are important in helping us better understand ourselves, our needs, our wants, what feels good, what doesn't feel good, our preferences, things like that. And so today we're going to practice together noticing and naming our feeling. And one way we can do that is by looking carefully at the faces on this poster. We can notice the different features that the faces are making. Are the eyebrows scrunched up, or is their mouth looking small or tight? Maybe you're feeling irritable or grumpy, discouraged, or angry. Maybe you notice that the eyebrows are raised and the mouth is open wide or making an interesting shape. Maybe you're feeling surprised or excited. Maybe you're feeling happy or joyful. There are so many different feelings on this feelings poster, and while they don't have every single feeling we may feel, they do represent a good mix of them. So I'm going to zoom in on this poster for you, and I want you to find the feeling that matches you right now. Not how you were feeling before you started watching, not how you think you'll feel later when you visit the zoo, but how you feel in this moment. Go ahead and take a peek, and I'll do the same. Did you find your feeling? Okay, let's say it out loud. Ready? Peaceful. I heard some grumpies, some happies, some playables, some confused. Yeah, we can all be feeling our own way, no matter what is happening in front of us. Even if it's the same thing, our feelings may still be different. It's kind of cool. They're like our own little superpowers. And so I'm really glad you practiced noticing and naming your feelings today. It may have felt a little tricky or confusing to do, or it may have felt easy. Or you may think, I don't really think I can name my feelings yet. That's okay. The more you practice, the better you get. And if you already feel really confident naming your feelings, that's great. Keep practicing, and you'll still get even better at doing it and learning to notice people's feelings around you as well. Now, another thing we do anytime we visit together is exercise. And the reason we exercise is not only to build our muscles, but to help keep our heart healthy and practice different tools or strategies that we can use if we're ever feeling stuck in an emotion or feeling where we feel like we need something to do to help our brains clear or feel more settled. Now, I always use the date to help me get started with my exercises. This way I don't get stuck thinking too much about what to do. But the date for me may be different than the date for you, and that's okay. You can change it as you need or just use the numbers I have, whatever you prefer. Now, the date I have for today is 5/16/22. That means we're in the 5th month: January, February, March, and April, May. Yes. And the 16th day, and our year is 2022. So we'll do exercises using those numbers to help us out. But before we do, we're going to check in with our friend Fig, who's also here to help us. They are always showing us one of the moves that we'll do. And this is interesting. Make some observations about Fig and how their body is shaped. And maybe try to guess, what exercise or move do you think they're showing us? Now, we'll check back in with them really soon. But to start us off, I thought we could do 5 shoulder rolls. That'll help us loosen up our necks and our shoulders and hopefully be warmed up for our next activity. Let's do 5 shoulder rolls, counting by ones. And you can do these sitting or standing, whatever's best. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have 16 things to do. And I thought we could build our leg muscles. So if you're able, stand up and we're going to do 16 squats. We're going to try to bend our legs so they make a nice little corner or right angle. And we're going to count by 2s as we do our 16 squats. Let's do it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Fantastic job. Are you feeling those leg muscles warmed up or maybe even a little fiery? Now, last but not least, we have Fig's moves to do. We're going to do 22 of them. So again, we'll count by 2s. Fig, what are you showing us? Jumping jacks. Yes. Were you able to guess that? Fabulous. Let's get up and get into a jumping jack position. We'll do 22 counting by 2s. Let's do it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. Whew, wonderful work. Now, anytime we exercise or raise our heart rate or warm up our muscles, it's really helpful for our bodies to cool back down. And so we'll listen for a bell. And as you hear that bell, you can take a big breath in, fill up your belly with air, and then slowly let it out. Let's breathe. Awesome job, my friends. I hope your body is starting to feel a little bit cooler and settled once again. Now, you may remember earlier in the week I talked about how May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And today we're going to stay on our theme and topic and talk about some food related to Asian American and Pacific Islanders. And I'm really excited to share my books with you and this message, so let's start there. Remember, in my messages, I often hide alliterations and onomatopoeias. And alliterations are words that are next to each other that start with the same beginning sound, and onomatopoeias are sound words. So see if you can spot any today. Dear delightful friends, do you have a flavorful, fantastic favorite food? Maybe it's a tasty treat your Nana always makes. Maybe it's your auntie's awesome apple crisp. Maybe your Papu's pancakes are perfection. Or maybe it's a recipe you created and cook on your own. Yum! No matter what your favorite food is, oftentimes eating and sharing meals makes us feel connected. The smells and tastes regularly remind us of our roots and our family history, and the conversations and laughter around a table help us deepen our relationships. Food is pretty magical like that. Today, we'll hear about some special Asian Americans and their phenomenal food stories. Love, Mrs. A. Do you have a favorite meal or a favorite food? I would love to hear about it. You can call it out now, or you can send me an email by visiting the description under this video. And while you're there, remember to hit that red subscribe button. All right, let's get right into these books about some Asian Americans and their food stories. First, we have Dumpling Dreams, and it says how Joyce Chen brought the dumpling from Beijing to Cambridge. And Beijing is in China, and Cambridge is in Massachusetts. And this book was written by Carrie Clickard, illustrated by Katie Wu. And we'll look at just a few pages together. This is a pretty incredible story of how a woman named Joyce Chen, or actually Jia, is her original name, brought dumplings from China to the United States. Dumplings? Jia's favorite treat. Cook hands her one, still warm, to eat. You're old enough. Come learn from me. She climbs a stool so she can see. Red eggs celebrate a boy. Dreams of mooncakes, luck, and joy. Then a daughter joins the three. A plump, delicious family. Troubles come, war in the news, the heart of China split in two. Days of worry, nights of fear, even dumplings taste of tears. So now we've jumped around a little bit, and Jia, or Joyce, is older, and she is married and has a family. And I hear that she is in China with her family, right? She's from Beijing. But there is war, and China is splitting in two. It says that even dumplings taste of tears. So how do you think she and her family are feeling right now? Yeah. Scared, sad, worried, anxious. Yeah, I bet they're upset, maybe even angry. And again, we'll skip around a little bit. But when there's war in China, she and her family decide to move to the United States. As I said, Cambridge, Massachusetts. New words to learn, strange food to try. When she's scared, heart thumps, throat tight. The smell of dumplings set things right. We talked a little bit earlier about how food can help us feel connected. And so even though she and her family are in a brand new place with strange food and languages that they are not familiar with, comfort of dumplings and a familiar meal or dish are helping her feel a little better. This is a really wonderful book filled with a ton of information about Joyce Chen and her whole life story. And so I highly recommend you grab Dumpling Dreams. You can grab it from your local library or visit the bookshop link in my description. Next, we have a story that was shared with me when I was teaching in a classroom. One of my students brought this in because it was her favorite book about her favorite meal, and I am so thrilled to share it with you. It is called Bibimbap, and it is by Linda Sue Park with illustrations by Ho Baek Lee. And Bibimbap, we'll learn, is a delicious Korean dish that I enjoy a lot, and as I said, my student and many of my friends and family enjoy it too. Let's listen. Almost time for supper. Rushing to the store. Mama buys the groceries. More, Mama, more. Hurry, Mama, hurry. Gotta shop, shop, shop. Hungry, hungry, hungry for some bibimbap. And I love how she is out with her mama at the grocery store. It's making me think of that book I shared last week called Tofu Takes Time, where the character Lynn is with her grandma cooking up a meal. And here we have a different character with their mom. I love when people are cooking together. Rice is on the boil, bubbling in the pot, white and sticky lickety, steaming good and hot. Hurry, fluffy rice, gotta pop, pop, pop. Hungry, 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 for some beepin' bop. Have you ever had sticky rice? It's really tasty, and it's an important part of beepin' bop. Spinach, sprouts, and carrots, each goes in a pan. Let me pour the water in. Yes, I know I can. This is another one of my favorite pages because she's so eager to help. And she poured the water in and spilled a little bit too. Have you ever made a bit of a mess or spilled something while you were cooking or baking with your family? Me too. There are so many ingredients and lots of pouring and mixing that it happens. Oftentimes cooking and baking gets messy. Now, like I said, this is a really fantastic book, and you can hear it's full of playful rhymes. Grab it for yourself so you can finish reading and learning about bibimbap. There's also a great recipe at the end. Last but not least is a book about a chef, and her name is Nikki Nakayama. And this book is the story of Nikki Nakayama's life and how she discovered a love for cooking and how she eventually came to open up her own world-famous restaurant. It's called Nikki Nakayama, A Chef's Table in 13 Bites, and it's by Jamie McCalloch and Debbie Machiko Florence, with illustrations by Yuko Jones. And I think this is such a fantastic story because as you read it, you'll hear that Nikki is really determined and really passionate about what she loves, and that's cooking food and being creative. Let's listen. Nikki Nakayama was born in the United States. Her parents were born in Japan. Outside of Nikki's house was Los Angeles. Inside of her house was Japan. Sometimes the two cultures felt very different, but in the kitchen they became one. Nikki's mother cooked American food with a Japanese twist, like meatloaf with soy sauce, rice instead of potatoes, and on Thanksgiving, teriyaki turkey. And so here we hear that Nikki is bicultural. That means she has two cultures. She was born in the United States, but her family is from Japan. And so she gets a little bit of both cultures, the best of both worlds, as you might say. As Nikki grew older, she hungered to create her own life story. She liked to imagine, explore, and invent. Most of all, Nikki loved making up her own recipes, like mini pizzas made from jarred pasta sauce, cheese, and wonton wrappers. But when she turned 12, Nikki had to help out at the family business, a seafood warehouse for chefs. Nikki didn't like the icy building. The fish stared at her with dead eyes. When I grow up, Nikki thought, I'll do my own thing. Do you have any connections or similarities to Nikki? Do you like to explore? Do you like to imagine or invent? After graduating from high school, Nikki felt hungry for adventure. She traveled to Tokyo, Japan, where she spent her days discovering the city one bite at a time. Crunchy fried octopus balls, slippery udon and ramen noodles, and sweet, chewy mochi. From Tokyo, Nikki took a train north to her cousin's inn, a ryokan nestled in a peaceful mountainside. And here you could see some of the places she visited and some of the delicious foods that she tried. Eating is a great way to experience a new place or a new culture. And like I said, Nikki is Japanese, so this culture is hers. Her family is from Japan. But when she went to visit, it's different than where she grew up in Los Angeles. There, Nikki was served a meal of many courses. One by one, the dishes flowed like a stream. Each dish was a work of art. Each bite burst with flavor. The tomatoes' scent brought back memories of a long-ago picnic. The corn soup tasted of a warm, lazy day. Together, the courses told the story of summer. Nikki learned this storytelling feast had a name, kaiseki. Inspired, Nikki wanted to tell a story with food, too. I love this idea that a whole meal could tell a story. There are many different dishes and bites, if you will, and it is called kaiseki. It tells a whole story through a meal. And if you grab this book, Nikki Nakayama, you'll continue to read about her story and hear how she started her own restaurant that offers people 13 dishes to tell her own story. It is a really beautiful book, and I've heard a really beautiful and incredible restaurant, but I haven't visited myself yet. Now, before we get to our mindful moment today, I just wanted to let you know that on Friday, I have another story coming out called One Whole Me, and it's by an author named Dia Mixon. And I'm really excited to share this story with you because it's about being bicultural, just like Nikki Nakayama, and just like Joyce Chen, and just like the characters in the books we've been looking at. Bicultural means that you have two cultures. Your family is from two different places, or you live in a place that's different from where your family's from. Bicultural means that you have a rich history, and you probably have some traditions or foods that are really special to you from both of your cultures. And so be on the lookout for that read aloud that comes out on Friday, and be sure to hit that red subscribe button if you haven't yet so you can get a little reminder. Now, our mindful moment today is a food-inspired one. It's a breathing activity where we are going to pretend to cool down a hot soup. Maybe you have a favorite soup. If you do, imagine it. Try to think of the smells and tastes. And pretend it is fresh off the stove, really, really hot. You can see the steam coming off of it. And what we are going to do is take a big breath in and cool down our soup by blowing around. We're going to do this for 3 big breaths. So go ahead, use your imaginations and picture that soup. You can close your eyes or lower your head and get ready. Let's breathe in big. Okay, cool down your soup. It's still really hot. Let's do 2 more breaths. Fantastic. Hopefully your soup is nice and cool. Maybe you can have a little taste. Friends, I'm curious, how did that mindful moment make you feel? What do you notice about your brain or your body? Oh, very neat. Thank you for sharing and thank you for trying that out. There's always a different mindful moment at the end of each of my episodes, so be sure to keep watching and keep trying them. If this one didn't really work well for you and didn't feel like it was a calming or peaceful activity, go back and try another one, or look out for some future ones where we'll try different things together. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you make it a great rest of the day. Sending you off with some love if you want it, a hug if you'd like it, and I can't wait to see you next time.